Picking a career can feel totally overwhelming, right? Like you're staring at this giant blank map with no idea which way to go. So today, we're going to pull out the compass. We're going to break down how to understand yourself and how to understand the real world of work to help you find a path that actually feels right.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look inward to find your personal career code. Then we'll zoom out and decode the job market, face a few hard truths, and talk about what it takes to make a change. And we'll wrap it all up with a practical toolkit to get you started. First up, finding your code. This is all about using a little bit of science to understand yourself. We're talking about proven tools that help you figure out what makes you tick and how that can point you toward a career you'll actually enjoy. Okay, so let's be real. Are these career tests just some kind of fancy crystal ball? Not at all. These are tools built on decades of research. The goal isn't to give you some magical prediction, but to give you real, data-driven insights about yourself. When you look at these tests, you'll usually run into two big ones. First, there's the Strong Interest Inventory, or SI. It's really detailed. It compares your interests to thousands of people who are happy in their jobs. But you need a computer to score it. Then there's the Self-Directed Search, or SDS. This one's cool because you can do it all yourself, and it gives you a simple three-letter code that's like a shortcut to your career personality. So the big idea here, and it's actually pretty simple but super powerful, is this. You're probably going to be happier in a job where you share interests with the people around you. That's the whole foundation for tests like the Strong Interest Inventory. It's really about finding your professional tribe. And hey, remember that three-letter code we were just talking about? That's called a Holland code. It comes from that self-directed search test, and it boils down your whole career personality into a simple combo, like EIR or ISC. Each letter stands for one of John Holland's 6 personality types, which you often see arranged in a hexagon to show how they all relate. Okay, this is a really important difference to get. An achievement test is simple. It measures what you can do right now, a skill you already have. But an aptitude test is looking at your potential. It's trying to predict if you could pick up a new skill if you got the right training. One looks in the rearview mirror, the other's looking at the road ahead. All right, so you've done the soul-searching part. Now let's turn our attention outward and try to make sense of the actual job market. And trust me, it's not always what it looks like on the surface. Just look at this number for a second, 76%. Any guesses what that is? It's huge, and it points to a reality that most job hunters completely miss. So that's 76%. Get this. That's the estimated percentage of jobs that are never publicly advertised. You won't find them on job sites or company career pages. They exist in what people call the hidden job market. And that is exactly why everyone is always telling you to network. It's not just some corporate buzzword. It's the only way to get access to these unlisted jobs. It's all about talking to people and hearing about opportunities before anyone else does. Something you might not think about is that jobs are also classified by, well, how much heavy lifting is involved. A sedentary job means you're lifting 10 pounds max. Light work goes up to 20, medium to 50, and it goes up from there. These aren't just random words. They're actual technical definitions used for things like career planning. Okay, let's get real for a minute. Finding the right job isn't just about what you like or what you're good at. We also have to deal with some tough, sometimes unfair challenges that are just baked into the way the world of work is structured. Now here's the difference that sounds small, but it's actually a huge deal. A dual career family means both partners are in jobs with real chances for growth. But in a dual earner family, yeah, both people are working, but they're in jobs where there's really nowhere to go. No promotions, no ladder to climb. That completely changes things for a household. And of course, we have to talk about gender bias. Research shows it pops up in a bunch of different ways. It's not just the wage gap. There's also what's called occupational segregation, where jobs traditionally held by women just pay less. And studies even show that sometimes women with the exact same skills as men might aim lower in their careers, a bias that can, unfortunately, even be reinforced by counselors. Look, your career isn't set in stone, right? Life happens, people change, and sometimes you just need a new direction. This part is for anyone who's thinking about a big shift or jumping back into the workforce. So here's a term you might come across in career counseling: displaced homemaker. It's used to describe someone, usually a woman, who's looking for a paid job after spending years doing unpaid work at home. Maybe the kids are grown, or maybe it's due to a divorce or a spouse passing away. And a similar idea is the re-entry woman. This is really any woman who is making that switch from working inside the home to outside of it. The big challenge here, and studies back this up, is often this huge feeling of indecision. It can be really hard to know where to even start.
So this is the big one, isn't it? The question that keeps people up at night. You've put years into one thing, and starting over just feels impossible. Is it just too late?
And the answer, let me just say, is a definite no. Actually, changing careers midlife is way more common than you'd think. It tends to happen for people between 35 and 45, and it's usually triggered by something major. The main takeaway is that it's normal, and yeah, it usually means you've got to get some new training to make it happen.
All right, let's roll up our sleeves. For this last part, we're getting super practical and opening up the job hunting toolkit, the actual things you need to do to land your next role.
First things first, the application itself. Yeah, your resume needs to be sharp, but honestly, the cover letter is your secret weapon. I'm serious, a lot of hiring managers won't even look at a resume without one. Just keep it short, like 3 paragraphs, and a little pro tip, making sure the paper and font match on both your resume and cover letter just looks clean and professional.
Have you ever wondered how companies actually figure out if someone can be a good manager? Well, there's this classic method called the in-basket technique. They basically give a candidate a simulated inbox, a pile of memos, problems, emails, and say, go. How you prioritize and solve everything gives them a real-time look at how you'd actually do the job. It's a test of doing, not just talking.
But now for a little twist. All that time you spend gathering reference letters? Well, it turns out they might not matter as much as you'd think. Why? Because think about it, nobody ever asks for a bad reference. Hiring managers know this, so they know they're only getting the highlight reel, which makes the letters kind of less useful.
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? We've got all these amazing tools, tests that can measure our interests, our potential, our personalities. We can analyze the job market. We can learn all the right techniques. And yet, for so many of us, finding that fulfilling career is still one of the hardest things we'll ever do. It really makes you wonder what the tests and the data just can't measure.